Well, I bought a couple vehicles, and unfortunately they're buried up in there, in that direction, in the woods, really off into it. I mean, as you can see, these are dozer paths. That's the only way we're able to even drive up into here, is because a dozer came through and knocked all this stuff down. So there was an auction. Unfortunately, the man who lived here died, and he had a bunch of old cars and trucks and stuff, and they came up in here and had to clear paths to get up in here. But one of them's right there. We're gonna have a heck of a day today, but this one has to be moved, and in order for me to be able to move this one, I had to buy it. So I bought both of them. This is a, what would you say this is, 70?
Early 70s, late 60s.
Yeah, that's a 71 grill, maybe 70. Anyway, this thing is a ton truck. I think it's a 350? I don't know. It's a small block, and it's got a Granny Gear 4-speed. As you can see, the hood's been taken off of it, so there's probably not a lot of chance for that engine surviving. But it's a complete truck for the most part. It's got dually, it's a dually, but look how slick the back tires are. Somebody was out having fun cutting donuts in their dually or something. But this is not even the worst of it. We've got to go in a little bit further to get to what we're here for. Oh.
That fell.
Ow! Tweak to the eye. Man down. There she is. This is what we're here for. I don't know, we came and looked at it yesterday. I think it's actually worse than we thought. It's a 63 Plymouth Valiant, slant 6, 3-speed on the column. And it's been sitting since 1983. So it's been off the road for 41 years. And it's been right here. So much so that, look at this. It's a pretty sizable tree growing up and rubbing against the fender. This car's been up on blocks for some reason. A lot of these cars had the wheels taken off and were up on blocks. And this is just one of them. So it's super solid and it's super straight. And it looks like it's got a nice back seat, but with like Mustang front seats. So it's got buckets. It looks rust free except for that. Again, it's been right up in these woods. And I can imagine that, you know, all of this was probably completely cleared back when this car was parked here. So that's probably how it made it here. A lot of these cars, it seemed like he would park them here and then part them out as they sat here. There's a couple other Dusters, another, what car was that? Was it a Buick?
It was a Buick.
There's a Buick up there. There's that truck. There's this car. I bought a Corvette out of here. There's a couple other Mopars that I think got crushed, but they were just really bad parts cars. And then there's even like an abandoned property out here, like with a nice house and everything. We're gonna go in and explore all that on my second channel. So if you wanna see that, it's in the top right, but don't miss out on this video here. Wait till you finish this one before you go over there. So we have a really nice looking car. Like, how nice is the grill? All that's like, I guess that's aluminum, or is it stainless? I don't know, but it's straight as an arrow. And again, it's not rotted out because it's been off the road for 41 years. As you can see, it's obvious. The only bad thing I'm seeing is the windshield did get busted. It looked like something, like a tree limb fell across it. We have a lot of work cut out for us because we have to get all the way over there. They were telling me, it's like you could either go get the truck out of the way first, or you can go that way. I'm like,
at the building.
How do we go that way? I don't know how we're gonna go any other direction but that way out. So the game plan, get all this out from around it, and then we're gonna try and pull it this way. But I brought wheels and tires, we got jacks, we've got saws, we've got everything we could think of that we might need to get this thing out of here. I mean, is it worth this car? Some may say no, but I always say yes. It's always worth it. I mean, we're literally out in the middle of the woods. I mean, if they didn't have that dozer trail, I don't think there's any way you could even hardly walk back here. No. As bad as it is. I mean, it's dense. There's just car parts laying everywhere, just scattered about. There was a Buick nailhead somewhere over there. There's a 401. So I mean, there's no telling what would be hidden all throughout these woods. You just can't get to it hardly. I mean, we had to battle just to walk back to this thing, and it's really not that far off the trail. Thankfully, we were able to bring my tractor up here, and we were close enough to home that we can do that. We're just going to be able to use that to pull some stuff out and then go to town. So, first things first, get this truck out of here. Oh, ow, oh, I'm just ripping my jacket off. That's fine. Ow, twig to the ear. Yeah, look at these slicks they got going on here. Somebody's having a good time over here spinning some tires with their dually. Oh! And out we go. Back into civilization. Wow. Well, we've got the tools to accomplish the job. It's just a matter of, can we do the job? So what I'm thinking, should I just pick it up by the bucket and then use the chain to hold it still?
I think it'll come right out.
Please don't say that. You think we can try and pull on it sideways? I really should be, if I could pull that direction, I think it would help me keep the weight in the rear, because it started picking up immediately as soon as I put weight on it. I had a bush hog, but it was too heavy for my trailer, so I had to leave it here and take it home.
That might would help.
I guess once we get it rolling, I'm just not going to stop. It's trying to move.
I think it has moved just a little bit.
It has. It just got to break free of that spot it's in. Ugh.
Hey, the back tire's on a stump. I see that now. Yeah, right there. It's on like 2 or 3 of them.
Huh.
Right there.
Well, that's not very conducive to our actions here.
But it did move.
It did move, but you would think it could crawl up over that. How far? We haven't moved very far, have we?
No, but if that's where it started.
Where did it start? Oh, that's not too bad. Thorns all over it now. Yeah, look at that's what's holding us down.
All these vines.
Dang.
I have to get the cutters out here.
Get off there. this limb over here is holding her up. Oh,
Oh, my door. No, my mirror.
no! Not let go there. Get out! Ah!
Free. Whoa!
I'm sorry. Are you alive?
I'm alive.
Hey, I didn't have to cut it. Just snap. Nice.
That was easy.
What do you think's holding me?
There's nothing on this side that I can see.
You really think it's those stumps?
It could be. Because there's like one on each wheel.
Huh. Yeah, we hadn't moved past them.
What if I hold the clutch? You think that would work?
Mash the clutch and I'll see if I can watch it move. It's moving.
It feels like it works.
I was just wondering if it's disengaging. That shifter just won't move at all, will it?
It's stuck.
But the steering wheel works. So you can,
Yes.
let me yank on it a couple times and see if that'll do anything.
No.
Oh! Whoa! Oh my gosh!
That was violent. I wasn't ready for that.
I just had the parking brake on the whole time, so I didn't realize
Oh
that.
my gosh.
Well, those are rolling. I don't know about those. I think they are. Yeah, because the bottom was on a different spot. So we got a really sharp. That's why we got a really sharp curve. We got a handle right here. So I'm gonna try and swing wide. You do the same. There we go. We did it. Man, that was tough. She's stuck, but it's out here. So the plan is we're gonna take a wrecker, have a flatbed come out here and get this thing, just come out here and get in front of it, because I don't want to struggle with this thing any more than we already have. This truck is so heavy, but it's out of there. So our wheels roll. We can get a better look on the inside. I mean, it's dirty, it's filthy. I'd be curious to kind of look more into it later, but we're not here for this one. We just had to get it out of the way. I know some of y'all were like, yeah, let's do this one, but I don't really have any intentions of doing much with it. So got a really nice bed on it though. That'd be cool for something, like a homemade looking bed. Got dually wheels. Somebody might need a frame. What's the storage box? I didn't see that. Whoa, that's pretty cool. If it had a good door on it, it'd be nice. This door over here is nice though. You can see a little bit better inside there. Yeah, not bad. Been sitting for, there's no tag on it, so I don't know how long it's been sitting. Wonder if it's got anything on the windshield that might tell us like registration or something. You see anything over on that side? Well, it's at least out. That was the hard part. I say it was the hard part. We got a lot left to do, but it is out of the way. I didn't think it was gonna do it, to be honest with you.
I was starting to wonder.
I had a little bit of doubt, but I had to have faith, and it's out. There's where the truck was. Now you can see what we were up against. There's a nice little crater there. And now we can easily walk right to our Valiant, where we've been wanting to go this whole time. So it's gonna be a lot of chopping. We're just gonna be clearing out this path right here, just a lot of little stuff like this, but there's just a whole bunch of it. So we're going to do our best to just clear out all that we can because we want this to be an easy exit if possible. Time to play the game. You seen that video?
Yes, I have.
It's time to play the game.
Is it stuck?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Those
Very firmly.
Those lug nuts even move at all?
No.
Oh, it's game over. Hey, we got a fix for that. Don't you worry. This is the only wheel that's on it, so we're gonna get the car jacked up, and I've got a set of small bolt pattern Chrysler wheels with tires on them that we're gonna put on the car. The name of the game here is pick it up, put the wheels on it and cut the wheel all the way to the left, and we're going to try and rotate the front end around so we can just back off of this tree here. And I don't think it really caused any damage to the fender from what I can tell. So if we can get it to kind of angle this way and just pull it around without having to do anything with that tree. One of these 41-year-old lug nuts will break loose. I'm going to try some Rogo lightning bolt blaster on them, let them sit for a second. Because if anything's going to be a problem, it's going to be stupid lug nuts. These don't look as bad, I guess, because the wheel kind of covered them up.
Nice and easy, like, remember it's reverse thread.
Oh.
Why do we even worry?
Didn't have to try. Oh, okay. Oh, yeah. Tell you what, if you want to bring me a wheel, if that's the case.
Ooh.
We're making good use of our off-road jack in this one. That looks like a frame rail.
Oh, that was odd.
I bet money those shocks are going to be stuck and they don't want to move, so it's going to look like a gasser in the front, squatted.
Wow, that might be the oldest piece of wood I've ever seen.
That looks brand new.
Yeah.
That's all that was holding that thing up. We have no expectations of these brakes actually turning. It's easier to have tires with air in them than not. So
They're easier to turn at least.
yes, maybe we can at least have something going for us instead of everything against us. Now here's the moment of truth. Can I get all the lug nuts on there? Ooh, a lot of friction. There we go. It's on. Let me try I'll snug up some of these just so they don't fall off. No. Zero suspension movement.
Oh, it's away from the tree.
About to say we're going to scoot it some. So when I set it down, I think the base of the tree is a little bit wider. Let me try it. Well, that's all I can do. Barely put a dent in the fender. Ew. I almost dropped this brick on my phone. Almost.
Your lug nuts, sir.
Thank you. Wait a minute.
Are they both?
They're both reverse thread. What?
The math isn't mathing.
I was just about to say the driver's side should be the reverse thread. Why was that one reverse thread?
Somebody might have messed up when they replaced them.
Anyway, at least it went on. Oh yeah. Easy. Like butter. Just trying to make sure it don't hit the tree as it comes down. Oh yeah, you're good. Come on. Yeah, you got miles of room. I was able to pull it back a little bit. Oh, the suspension's moving. It actually moved. I figured the shocks would be done. Well, cool.
It's got 2 antennas.
What?
It's got one up here and one at the back.
Got our CB, huh?
No, my exhaust.
What happened?
It's falling off.
No! I need that. Is it a glass back?
It's just the pipe. Oh my gosh, come look at it. Gone.
Oh, it's on the ground.
Yes.
Oh. Oh, nice. Yeah, it's all the way on the ground. Well, hey, if that's all that we leave, I'm fine with that. So is this one reverse thread then?
About to find out.
No. This one's regular. That is so strange.
Wow.
Well, that was nice.
Add a free wheel.
Hey! Unfortunately, these tires decided to leak on our way here, so they are both flat. So we're going to put them on the rear, and we'll air them up right before we go. We brought an air tank just in case. Oh, why does it thread so easily? That's so strange. No, that's a bigger wheel. I don't know what that's for. We don't need it. That one went on.
Low rider. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Well, guess we're gonna have to air them up. Oh, it bumped it. That's what it did when you turned it. There you go. Scared me.
Well,
now
we're down 20 pounds.
Good. You know, being down 20 pounds isn't so bad in everything, but
I guess not.
in here, it's not the best thing. Nice, back from the dead. Will it air? Now, let me see if I can get the jack out now. We couldn't get it out earlier. Oh! You want to try and pick up the bumper? There we go. Hang on. Got it.
Go ahead and call me Holt.
We're not goofing this time. We're gonna knock this one out of gear if we can. Guess what? We can't. So you might be having to do the clutch method again. But we got to get it away from this tree before you can do that. Yeah, she's in there. Can you try and turn the wheel to the left?
There's the keys. Right there.
Where? Oh! See if it works. Oh, and a trunk.
Oh!
Oh, there's just 2 ignition keys. Other way. You got it right.
Well, the other key just fell off. Might just be a random set, but...
It could be, but we'll try it when we get home. As long as we found something. Those are easy to change anyway. See if the clutch works. Oh, yeah. Did you feel that?
Yeah, I felt
the pressure come off of it. That tire's already flat again, so that's good.
That's pretty effective.
So we got a tree stump here that's getting in the way of the tire. I don't want to blow it off the bead. So I'll try and use that piece of metal there to kind of be a buffer.
That was beautiful.
I mean,
It'll slide better than that stump.
I hope so.
There we go. Oh.
You're on to something. I like it. I'm gonna hook to this control arm. Pull it this way.
It's turning.
Wow. That was something else. How was the first drive?
Pretty nice.
Pretty
quiet. I couldn't hear it.
We got it out though. Wow. That was a lot of effort. Let's go check out the site that it was in. So we were facing the opposite direction. And this is what, look how the trees, the roots went up under it. I mean, I don't think it was part like that before, do you? That tree had to grow up under that. Wow, that is insane. You can see where it was rubbing up against it. Oh, giant spider, not touching that. But it grew flat right against that tree. That's wild. There's your exhaust. I'm sorry, Briar.
No, I wanted it so bad.
Turned to ashes. Nothing left of it. Well, she's out. Now we just got to get it out to the front. But, whew, you want to talk about a lot of effort just to get that thing turned around. That's all I can say is wow. That is really all it could be. And it looks great. I mean, for what it is, here you can show the tag now. 1983, the last time it was registered. So it's been off the road 41 years in that spot. It's finally freed from its hole. I'm curious to see how the floor's held up. We got a lot of cool stuff in there to dive into, but for now, Briars, you can drive it on out of here. tractor did it. We are officially out in the open where we can load this thing. So the truck's way down there. We got the Valiant right here. So I'll bring my truck around and see if we can load it up. Have all this flying off the road. There we are. Mulch. That's authentic barn mulch, or woods mulch, I guess you could say. Ah, yes. Perfect paint. Just like we like it.
Perfect trunk lid.
I honestly am surprised that water didn't retain right there and ruin that. It's pretty shocking. This thing is awesome. Like, it's way better than I anticipated.
Very solid.
Way more solid than I thought. You think it's a latch?
I couldn't get either one of them to. That one looks like it's sagging hard.
Yeah. Hopefully that means the car like bent in half or something.
Yeah.
Now at this point, we're going to take it home, but if you, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, there's a whole property to explore. In the top right, or in the description below, there's a second channel video of us exploring some like 2 or 3 abandoned buildings, seeing the other cars that are still on the property. There's a lot of really cool stuff and probably a lot of history out here that we're going to check out. But if you want to go check that out, go ahead, but we're going to head home with our Valiant. Well, we made it back home and we're going to unload this unit. Oh, I'm gonna have to push it, dang it. I gotta pull it in with the rest of the way with the Charger here. Fell off the ramps and I couldn't push it. I was able to get the car in the shop and turned around. Thankfully, this thing rolls very well. And with a combination of some elbow grease and a floor jack, this thing's facing the right direction. But all the drums, surprisingly, move very well. The hood was kind of a problem. It looks like it was forced open at one point because it's misadjusted. So you can see it's pretty bent back here. Whenever you try to open it, it rubs against the cowl right here. You can see where the paint was rubbing against it. I had to force it open to get it open. And I'm going to try and adjust these because it was literally touching. So the only way I could do it was just to open it that way, but it was already bent, so there we are. We have a slant 6 under the hood. She's crusty, but it's all there and it's very complete. Even the battery was still hooked. So, I mean, literally, they drove it to the spot it sat and then parked it and never cranked it again. So everything's there. This one, for some reason, he must have liked it a lot because it never got parted out like all the other cars. So, I mean, everything is in its place, thankfully. We've got a lot of work ahead of us, though. As you can see, there's some shrubbery growing up in under here. It's everywhere. I don't know what this means. Was this thing like a military issue thing because it's green? I don't know. It was repainted blue at some point, looks like, but it looks like it was a green from the factory. But the grille, the headlights, the bumpers, everything is immaculate on this car. So what we're going to try and do is to make it run, but I did check the fan and it is locked up tight. The good news is the transmission did eventually come out of gear. So we were able to knock it into neutral. So we know we have at least movement in the column and gears it can change. So it can go into gear or into neutral and the clutch works. So that is hopeful for our movement situation. It looks like Mustang 2 bucket seats, maybe even a later Mustang, but it couldn't have been much newer than that because it was parked in '83. So you got to imagine how long this thing's been sitting and all the vintage stuff on it, including like a
a PA system. I mean, it must have had like a little speaker under the dash. Pretty neat, to be honest with you, but everything is there. Everything. How cool is that? Every little nut and bolt looks like it's never been removed. So I don't know what to tell you, but it's gonna be a lot. So I'm gonna go ahead and just try and remove. There we go. Let's get that out of our way. I wanna pull the spark plugs out and see if we can figure out how the cylinders are looking. It is, again, like I said, locked up, but that doesn't mean we can't pour something down into each spark plug tube and try to revive it. I might even just set a battery in there just to see if anything works at all. You know, it doesn't have to crank over just yet, but I do want to see if it'll at least, you know, have any power in places, any lights, anything about that matter. Kind of want to see what's up under here. This air cleaner, if I can get it off. Thankfully it was on. See if anything was living up under here. No, just some spider webs. Thankfully that stayed on there. So I think our carburetor, I mean, I doubt it got anything in it. Let's see if it'll move at all. No, completely locked up. But it's a 1-barrel. Is it a Carter? I think I have another good one. A good 1-barrel carburetor we can use off of a Slant 6. So we might trade it out. And it looks like, is it throttle linkage? That's all disconnected, but it goes right here, it looks like. That's the only downside of trying to convert carburetors, is that they have like these mechanical linkages that make everything difficult. So we probably had to rig up some kind of cable of sorts to even make that work. Well, slight problem. That spark plug has been out. So I don't know if it's gonna be bad. So I looked over and this plug wire right here had been pulled. So it's full of dirt dauber nest, and then look inside, and thankfully, good thing, it's wide open, just like we like it. So great. That's not good at all. So that's probably a lot of moisture and air getting up in there. The oil cap was off too, but it looks good on the inside. I mean, the rocker assembly is not rusted or anything. So if there is a problem related to, you know, something not moving, I wouldn't think that it would be related to the top end. So if anything, it's gonna be down here, probably a piston ring that's stuck. Shockingly enough, the spark plugs came out very easily. I used some of that Rogo lightning bolt blaster and it just backed right out, no problem. So here we have all of our plugs, and they genuinely don't look that bad. You can see where they're wet from when the threads were coated with that lightning bolt. But that one looks good. This one I dropped, so no, it's the other one, but this one had the most corrosion. So that one may be a problem. I'm gonna leave them in order so I know which one I'm looking at. This one I dropped. So it was fine until I dropped it on the ground. And this one, a little rust inside here, but not in the cylinder itself. So really not a lot of corrosion that you would expect. Like, this thing was running good when it was parked. It's just weird that it got parked. So all those plugs are good. I'm gonna leave them there. We only had 5 again. So I guess at this point, the best thing to do is to spray something in each cylinder, let it sit for a little while, and then try and rotate it again. Spray a good bit in each one here, best I can. Oop, get in there. Might go back with a little ATF too in there. Oop, get in there. That should at least get the top of the piston. While I'm waiting for that stuff to kind of settle in, I went ahead and pulled the upper and lower radiator hose clamps. I'm gonna take these off because I wanna pull the radiator. I can't really get to the, oh shoot, do these even have a balancer bolt? Oh no, I think they're press on, aren't they? That might put a little damper on this whole situation here. Hold on a second, let me do a little investigating. Well, yes, in fact, they do not have crank bolts on these engines, but it is threaded. The pulley is a press fit situation, but I have figured out that it is threaded in there. We just have to get it cleaned out and get this out of the way. So first things first, let's pull the radiator. I'm under here pulling the lower hose, and it's leaking coolant. Interesting to say that it has coolant in it. I guess I'll just have to try and drain it then, because I don't want coolant all over my floor. Very interesting, to say the least. I got the drain open, and look, there's coolant coming out of there. Is that not crazy? Let me see if I can open it up a little more. What's even crazier is that it broke loose. I got the lower hose off. Look how much was in there. And it's at least green. That tells me that maybe the radiator's okay, maybe the block's okay. Freeze plug wasn't busted. That is crazy to me. I think it's ready. There we go. All the bolts are out. Ooh, there's a little bit of coolant still in the radiator. Look at that. Now we got room to work with. Nice. It's a tiny radiator. I'm not the expert on slant sixes, but from what I understand is that crank in the snout of it, at least, is still threaded, even though they don't use a bolt on the crank itself. I'm gonna try and see if I can clean all that gunk out of there and then get a bolt into that. They said from the forums I read that a regular Chrysler crank bolt should work. Oof. Wow. Nasty. Well, they were correct. It may be hard to see. Let me try to zoom in. It's threaded in there. It is most certainly threaded. How good the threads are, I don't know, but I am going to pull a crank bolt off of another engine and see. Well, folks, always be open to learn. This is the crank bolt to a Chrysler big block. I just went and took it off. And watch this. It threads. Now, it doesn't thread great. We're going to spray something on the threads here to help clean them up, but it's going on there. I need to add a washer in place. I might even pull this pulley off here so I got a little bit more room to work with, but it works. Huh, never knew that. Well, I put the crank bolt in, and it is as tight as it can get it. I have put the washer on there, and I took this pry bar, and I cannot get this thing to move. My pry bar is on the crank bolt, and I keep tightening the bolt, but the crank doesn't move at all. So I'm scared I'm going to rip the threads out of it. So unfortunately, that's not going to do it. So now what I want to do is take my little camera that I have, and I can actually go into each cylinder and see which one's the problem, you know, which one's the worst of them. It's bad. Whatever it is not good at all. So here we are entering into the #1 spark plug hole. And as you can see right out the gate, there is an open valve with a lot of carbon deposit built up around it. And then as we get a little closer, we start to see that there is quite a lot of pitting on the cylinder walls. And all but #2 cylinders look just like this. I mean, it's really going to be okay, but it's not perfect. And the problem one is when we go to #2. First things first, when we go in here, it just looks terrible. Everything about this looks like it's locked up. I mean, this is the culprit. If there's going to be one that's a problem, this is it. And you really can see just a bunch of carbon deposits, rust on top of that. And you really can't even tell where the beginning and end of the cylinder is in some places. So it's just bad. It's really bad. And then when I turn the camera around to look at the valves, there's a dang spider in here. Like, come on, man, you can't be in here. We've got to make a slant 6 run. A spider is definitely not going to be helping us in this situation. I've created a contraption here. This is about 2 gallons worth of ATF, and I've got a little hand pump with a hose going into each spark plug. So one at a time, I'm just going to fill each one up with a little bit of ATF, see if that'll soak down in there, and hopefully coat the rings, cylinder wall, all that good stuff, and maybe, just maybe, it'll come back to life. Based on what we saw, #1, 3, 4, 5, and 6 don't look half bad. Our biggest problem really is going to be #2. So we're going to focus a good bit on #2, and hopefully he comes back around. Alrighty. And done. I wanted to get these battery cables off while I wait. This one unbolted surprisingly, and this one just turned to dust. So try and get this one loose. I don't know if that's one coming out without breaking the battery. Wow, she's on there, that's for sure. I might try to open that one up. What about you? Oh, there we go. I think I saw it move. Oh yeah, look at that. Nice. We put the Optima in here. I just wanted to see if anything at all works. I don't have high hopes for anything, but let's test out some lights real fast. Oh, the switch doesn't move. So that's not happening. Oh!
Whoa!
Oh, it's done. That's all it had.
What?
Oh, if you get it just right, it works. So remember how whenever you try to put the ignition switch in, the key in the ignition switch? So I think they've installed this thing upside down.
Oh, so I was doing it right.
You were doing it, well, they installed it wrong, but yes, you were doing it right. Oh, the whole ignition switch is loose. Let me try the other key. Oh!
What?
Well, I guess it is. I just turned it to crank and it... Is it moving?
Do it again. No. Just the starter clicking.
She's locked up tight, Briar.
No, she ain't budging.
I don't hear that flashing.
Oh, passenger side came on. It's not blinking, it's just on.
But the left. Nothing.
Nothing on the driver.
And no radio. The radio's gone. Pull for... Oh. Whoa!
Oh.
So it's just like... It's like they forgot to add the heater switches in and they just mounted it under the dash. So the blower motor does work. Not very good, but it does work. Check out the rear. Is there anything lighting up in the back?
I'm not seeing anything. Not an inch.
Dang. I was hoping it would start to kind of work its way loose. Well, we were looking and the crank didn't even like flinch. So I'm wondering if the starter is only engaging on the Bendix, but it's not spinning. So Briar's gonna pull it off and we'll bench test it before we go any further. If not, I've got a reman that we'll put back on it just to be on the safe side. But as of right now, it does not want to work. I'm starting to think this thing is a military vehicle. I saw those numbers on the hood and I looked down at the fender. Guess what? It's the same thing on the inner fender. What does that mean? Anybody down there in the comments know? Because I do not.
Unnecessarily heavy.
Yeah, those starters are stupid big. There you go.
Ew. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. I don't want it. You can keep it.
Dumping rust all over me.
Give it to somebody else. No, it's spinning. It's slow to disengage, that's for sure. I wonder if I got stuck in a bind or something. That or the engine's locked up. It's one or the other. Yeah. Dang, I was really hoping it didn't. That would have solved a mystery. You know, we can see the ring gear. I can try and prowl on it from up here. It's a little easier than having to get under the car and doing it. Golly, I'm whipping the whole car. Oh my gosh. Ow, I just pulled a muscle.
I think it's stuck.
The answer is no. See, that's a problem. See, when the engine doesn't spin, it can't run. So that means
The car doesn't move.
the car doesn't move. Do you see the problem? So when we go back, we're gonna put this starter in my reman one because you saw how slow the Bendix was to engage and then disengage. I'm wondering if it was getting caught in a bind and it couldn't do anything as far as like being a force. So watch this one. See, it actually works like it should. So I'm gonna try this one and see if it does any better. And if it does, then maybe it'll be able to kind of just rock the engine just enough to get whatever's stuck, unstuck. Briar has the new starter put on. I'm going to try it. Please just budge, that's all I ask.
Oop, sparking at the battery cable. That ain't right.
No, something's wrong. Yeah, okay, yeah, no. Something's happening. The teeth aren't teething. It's an interesting sound.
It's very violent.
What's wrong with you? I don't know. That was interesting. This thing has to come off. Never mind.
Shame.
Do the thing where I stand off to the side and you take it off.
No.
I'll be over here. So I sprayed a little gel lube in there, and now it'll actually disengage and engage properly. See how much faster it moves? That's what it's supposed to do. So we're gonna put that one back on now. Well, I looked up that 5953. The MOS for that is Air Traffic Control Radar Technician. So I wonder if that's what that's related to. I don't know. But just the IK, I don't understand. Is that like the base it was at?
No.
So the crank's not doing anything at all.
Not a bit. Yep, it's smoking.
But I don't know, to be honest with you at this point, what to do. Been sitting for a while with I guess I could let it sit for a couple days. It's just that we only have a couple days. We just goof around with a Valiant that won't start. we have other things to do. So I guess we'll just push this thing in the corner for now and try again a little bit later.
Well, I'm under the car, and it really doesn't look terrible under here, but I wanted to pull off the inspection cover to the clutch, maybe get an idea of if it's possible to put a better pry bar on this side versus up top where the starter was, because I didn't really have a good angle on it. So I'm one bolt away from getting this plate off. Let's see how the clutch looks. A lot of oil leaks going on over here, so maybe the rear main was starting to give way, but at least the inspection cover came off fairly easy. Oh, does this thing have bolts in the front too that I can't see? Yes, it does. Oof, that is packed full of oil. But the flywheel doesn't look half bad. I mean, that's how it looked up on the top side. Really not a whole lot of rust. Not what you would consider to be like anything more than normal. It helps that that inspection cover was on there that whole time. Let's slide this over here. How is the clutch looking? I mean, not bad. Not a lot of material in there. I mean, it's really not terrible. The pressure plate looks fine. I'm gonna try and stick a pry bar on these ends and see if I can work it back and forth. You can see the starter up there trying to do its thing. It just can't. Okay, well, we've got a vantage point now. Let's work with it. Well, I'm trying, and if you watch, whenever I put pressure on it, this stays still, but the whole engine and transmission rotate. So, we're not making any progress there. Ugh, good gracious, that thing is locked up. Wow. Well, the good news is besides the floor pans that are underneath of the car isn't bad. I mean, yes, of course, the floor is pretty much gone, especially right there. It looks like they laid some sheet metal on it, so these were rusted out before the car was even parked, because look here, here's a spot that's rotted out, and they laid a piece of metal over it. So this thing's been rotted out for quite a long time, and you can see where they put the bucket seats in, they added some reinforcements to it on those inside bolts. So kind of interesting, pretty well done, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, this car is dirty, kind of crusty, but the frame rails are pretty good, except when you get up here. So I got to looking and I noticed this is the driver's side. She's rusty. But if that's all there is, I mean, that's a section that can be cut out and replaced and then check everywhere else. That's not bad. The other side is okay. The cross member for the torsion bar, that's where they have a common problem of, you know, rotting out or breaking. All that's good. The rears are good. I checked the rear frame rails, and from what I could tell, I didn't see anything rotted out. I mean, we had it, you know, pulling on it left and right and everything with chains and hooks and straps, and there was no problems there. But you can see this thing is complete. It's just rough. It just needs some loving. I mean, somebody could very easily fix all this and have a really nice car to start with, but unfortunately, I believe our engine is not going to be doing anything anytime soon. So, with that being said, it's out, it's been rescued, but it needs to be fixed. Briar sacrificed life and limb to find us some jewelry. We got the back seat out and discovered there was nothing really worth looking at in the trunk except for 2 of the hubcaps, because the other 2 were in the front seat. So as you can see, most of the rest of this stuff is just trash, so we'll clean up the rest of that. But anyway, what we did find was a ton of bottles, like RC, Coca-Cola, Sundrop. If you're not local to here, you probably don't know what Sundrop is. Dr. Pepper, a nice Camp Snoopy collection. Let's go. That's pretty cool. Little baby Sundrop. I can remember them making these when I was a kid. They used to be shorter, didn't they? Were they different, like...
They might have been a different shape.
Yeah, but I remember these little ones, but you can't even buy those anymore. A beautiful mellow yellow and an RC, and then a ton of 8-track cassettes. So we've got, like, who is it? We had Kenny Rogers, Loretta Lynn, and Conway Twitty. That's just the ones that we could tell. With Charlie Pride was in there somewhere. Those are just the ones we could see. Look, there's Kenny's face right there, just being glorious. And that's really about all the ones that we knew about. Oh, Elvis Presley, of course. Why not? So a great collection here. We just don't know what to do with any of it because we don't have an 8-track player. So
We do not.
we also found the broken door handle that goes to the driver's front. So, you know, a good collection of junk, more or less. Oh, and there's a window crank. The rest of it's just junk, trash, nonsense. So, Briar, since you did all the work, you can have first pick of which bottle you'd like to keep for your collection. Your very first, because I know you don't collect these, but it's just kind of neat.
Obviously.
Ooh, a tall neck sun drop.
Yes.
So Briar is a fanatic with the sun drops.
It's the greatest drink of all time.
But it's not a cherry sun drop.
Cherry sun drop is that much further below.
Below? Oh, so you like original
Yes,
better. Okay,
obviously.
okay, my bad. See, I'm a Dr. Pepper fan right here, especially this, because you can still buy bottles that look like that and have this 1024 logo, and I really appreciate that, because me and my wife really, every time we see one of those, we buy a glass bottle of Dr. Pepper, so it's kind of cool just to have some on standby, especially, ooh, that mellow yellow, that is beautiful. I don't know what it is, but I just love old bottles. Do you want the little stubby sun drop?
I know you won't drink sun drops. So.
No, I do like them. I appreciate them, but I don't need it. And if you could look in the trash bag that we just emptied out, you probably could find the cap I threw away.
Yes, and a Yoo-hoo.
And a dang Yoo-hoo, of all things. And then over here we have a complete set of Valiant hubcaps. So these are early hubcaps. I don't think that these can fit on later wheels. I'm not sure. But anyway, they have the Valiant logo, so these are a good find to have a complete set of 4. You find another one?
Mel Tillis?
Mel Tillis? Oh, yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, right there.
Brian just found another Kenny Rogers. This guy was a fan of Kenny Rogers. That's 3 cassettes, or 8 tracks for him. And the back seat, I don't know if this is actually for this car. This looks like for a later car, like a Duster or something. But it was in here. I bet they were storing it to keep it out of the weather. And they had planned on putting it in, and it wouldn't fit because the later A-bodies are wider. So this is not for this car, but it is a very good back seat. So we may keep that and put it in something else. Well, check it out. Briar did a really good job of cleaning this thing out. Up here, up under where the back seat went, it's pretty solid, but up under here where the carpet is, not so much. Pretty impressed by how well of a job they did when they actually added blue carpet to this thing. Except up here, it did kind of wrinkle up, but it's still not bad. But everything in here is clean now, so it's a little bit better and a little bit more just user-friendly when you look at it. It's not so abrasive and ugly. So really cool to see this car kind of coming together. I mean, yeah, we're getting places with it, but fortunately the engine's our biggest problem. So the only thing I know left to do is to back it out. Let's give it a good cleaning because the outside is disgusting, just as ugly on the inside. So we're gonna fix all this right here and see what do we have underneath all this nastiness and 41 years worth of gross dirt. Y'all take a good look. Remember what this thing looks like right now, how disgusting it is, because it's not gonna look the same once it's done. At least I hope it doesn't. I mean, it looks like terrible. It just looks awful right now. So Poppy's Patina makes these nice heavy-duty degreasers. I'm gonna take this and just spray all up under the hood because it's gonna need it more than anything. Get all that sitting there for a little bit. I'll do the outside with just some Dawn, but this stuff is where it really counts because the engine, whew, she's nasty. Well, it looks better, especially under the hood. We found another IK5953 over here, and really it cleaned up nicely. What is strange is the engine's blue. I don't think they did blue in this era, unless the valve cover is a different color. I don't think it is though, but look here. I thought it was supposed to be red, and that bracing is red. So I think the engine has been replaced. And as we started cleaning up, I noticed that there's writing on the door where they had sanded it off. I can make out Huntsville on, I've looked back and forth and I can make out Huntsville. So you can also see there's another IK5953. This one says for something use only. There's the 4. This is gone. I can't make out what that says, and it says use only. This one I thought said county. This says try. I don't know what the rest of that says. But you can really see how much cleaner it looks. This side was all scummed up and nasty. See, it says Huntsville, which is a local city to us. It says try here, but I can't make out the rest of it. So hopefully somebody out there might know what this all means and what this is related to. It's locked up, but it's been saved. It's been rescued. We got it out of the spot it was in, and it can go on to do something better now. Gosh, it's so blue. I don't think the camera's doing it justice how blue the interior is on this thing, but it's cleaned out inside and out. We're back in action with it, so it's at least going in the right direction. Now, what to do with it at this point, I don't know, but at least it is cleaned up, cleaned out, and back where it should be. So there's at least a bit of progress that can be made with it now. We just have a locked up engine, and even it's not the original engine, so what does it matter? I mean, if you're really going to make this thing run, best thing to do is probably just replace this thing, because even if you get it to come unstuck, the cylinder walls look really pitted and just bad, so there's a chance that it won't even come back to life. I don't want to mess with that. So if we ever did get this thing to run, it would probably be best just to go ahead and pull the engine out and start with a new one. But I've got plenty of extra slant 6s that I know run, so that's not a big problem at all. But regardless, it is what it is, and it's complete. Down to everything, it is completely stock in there, so it's really cool. But I'm happy with it. I'm glad that it's alive. I'm glad that it's here, and now I can actually have some stuff done to it.
Well, unfortunately, this thing didn't run. I was really excited and hoping that this thing would run, but you know, when you get a spark plug out for 41 years, that's going to cause quite the problem, especially where this car was sitting. Thankfully, it was up off the ground. They had the foresight to pick it up off the ground to keep the moisture out of it, but the biggest problem is that, you know, the battery leaked. It caused the frame rail to rot out. The floors are gone. The windshield's busted. But on the outside, it's very solid, surprisingly. I was very shocked with how well it held up on the outside. Most of the time, they just basically fall apart. This car, on the other hand, actually survived a lot compared to what you would expect in a lot of the other cars that were on this property. This thing held up a lot more. It must have been a car that he really enjoyed, because he took the time to jack it up off the ground and make sure that it didn't rot away as bad as it possibly could have. So I commend him for that. Unfortunately, the engine didn't run, but that's not to say that it couldn't run eventually. But the problem with the spark plug being out is that all the cylinder walls are pitted. So even if it did, you probably have a broken piston ring. You'll probably have something that's going to cause it to not gain compression back. So our best bet, honestly, would probably be just to replace the engine altogether, throw in a new flywheel and a clutch while we're at it. The transmission shifted. I mean, the clutch linkage worked, but while you're there, you might as well do it. So realistically, to bring this thing back to life and make it reliable and usable, it's basically going to need everything. So we'll see what happens in its future. But the good news is regardless, this car got rescued from the crusher because it was sitting in that field and the property sold. If it did not get out of there, it was going to get crushed and never be seen again. So regardless, our mission was accomplished of getting this car out and getting it to a safe place to where it can be dealt with. Whatever the case may be, it can now live on a little bit longer. So for the past 41 years, that car has been sitting in the same spot, and now it is back to more potential. We'll see. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked the video, please leave a like down below. If you have any questions for me, feel free to leave a comment. T-shirts and stickers are down in the link in the description below. Do not miss out on those, because we've got some great McCool Auto stickers and t-shirts, and all that money goes directly back into getting stuff like this saved from the crusher back on the road where it belongs. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one.